Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly twin astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective. Before jumping in with the energies for the week ahead, I kind of wanted to talk about some energies that came through for me, some profound symbolism that came forward this weekend for me while I was out at the campground. So Friday, we got to the trailer and everything was great. We got unpacked and everything, and my daughter and her best friend found a baby crow out on the point by the water, and so I thought it was really odd. We searched up all kinds of birds, and it definitely was a baby crow, and it's definitely not the time of year for crows to be around this area. So we had full intentions of bringing this crow to the bird sanctuary today, and unfortunately the crow ended up dying in my daughter's friend's hands yesterday before we were on our way home. So it was a big message of transformation and change is what came through. So crows are always associated with death, sometimes with misfortune. So I feel it's a powerful symbolism that kind of came through is what my guides brought forward. And it is bringing good news and positive change is kind of what I'm feeling. But no positive change feels good at first. So we're all kind of being prepared for a major transition in our lives. And we're still riding the coattails of this very intense lunar eclipse energy, pardon me. I know last night I was absolutely exhausted. I went to bed very early, but I could not fall asleep. I could not fall asleep at all. My whole body was like vibrating with all of these intense light code activations that were coming in. So I feel we're all kind of being asked to adapt through all of these intense frequencies that are coming in, and we're kind of being asked to change our views of survival. So I feel we're all kind of being asked not to resist these changes that are coming through. And, you know, since the bird kind of died before we brought it home, I feel we're in this collective process of death, of going into all of these deeply entrenched emotions. And the crows have been linked with many different cultures and religions, and all the way back to Greek mythology. So a crow is actually considered a very sacred animal, a very spiritual messenger. And for those that have followed me throughout the years, y'all know how I get haunted by these crows, and we actually rescued a crow a couple of years back and brought it to the sanctuary. So I consider these birds to be very sacred. I consider them to be, you know, guardians and healers of the 3D world. And so crows are highly intelligent birds, and I do feel it brought forward a symbol of magic. And I think many of us are being asked to go into our psychic gifts and to clear anything that's been ungrounded within the energies. And the crow goes all the way back to Greek mythology with Apollo, and crows would speak to Apollo and bring prophecy and knowledge forward. So, and I always think of threes when I think of crows, because when the bird asked what it should do about the 3 men chasing Apollo, or the 3 men chasing the bird because they wanted his feather, Apollo provided him with a lot of secret information. So it is about prophecy, and I kind of talked about the collective prophecy of what's kind of coming forward with all of this darkness. So it is definitely a messenger of death, but I look at it from a metaphorical point. I feel major death and rebirth is happening collectively. Even if you go all the way back to World War II, crows, wounded or dead crows, was definitely an omen of death coming. So it does represent change, a change in fortune, especially for the observer. Although it can be seen as bad luck, I think it's bad luck when we don't honor the sacredness of the crow. So a dead crow is typically not a sign that something bad will happen, but it's basically just a big omen of change. So it does represent death and transformation. So it also brought forward this deep symbolic message. I noticed 444 on the timer, which is all about foundations. And there's a lot of divine protection collectively as we go through this freeing energy. Another symbolic message that came through for me was the energy of freedom from any bondage or restrictions, and that there's going to be some big changes on the horizon. So it is indicating a fresh new start, especially with Jupiter in Aries. So we're entering into a new 12-year cycle. We're closing out the past 12 years of karma. And so it is this energy of freedom from all of these restrictive bonds, karmic soul bonds and barriers that really have, you know, created all of these limitations when it comes to these divine counterpart unions. So I do feel it was a signal of impending danger ahead for many of the divine masculines is what came through when I journaled about it. And I do feel this is a major opportunity for growth and ultimately good fortune for many of the divine feminines. So what I kept hearing was warning, prepare accordingly. So although a dead crow can take many forms, many meanings, depending on your cultural background, in Greek mythology, a dead crow represented fate and inevitable death. So crows would, in Greek mythology, fly over the battlefields to feast on the dead soldiers as their destiny unfolded before them. And then in Christianity, dead crows are often associated with omens rather than good or bad luck. So it's said to symbolize a warning that somebody will soon die. And I was shown a vision of three birds, one stone. So I feel a lot is kind of playing out when it comes to a major event within the collective, when it comes to death and rebirth. And when it does come to Celtic culture, the crow it's like this escapism energy. So what I feel when it comes to Celtic culture, and if we link that all the way back to, you know, the King Arthur timeline, once again, that keeps coming up very strongly for me. Dead crows do represent a deep fear as well as inner conflict. So I feel there's definitely a deep-seated issue within the divine masculine collective that is definitely needing resolution before he can move forward with anything else in his life. So a lot of feelings of being overwhelmed by all of these outside forces. And I do feel many of the masculines have been playing into drugs, alcohol, and society culture. And so I feel this deep need for the masculine to embrace independence and to free himself from all of these negative outside forces was another message that came through. And so a lot of past memories in the Akashic field have been coming to the forefront where we've been unable to release them in order to understand the significance of what has happened in these past timelines, so we won't keep repeating them and they won't keep happening time and time again. So it is also a deep symbol of darkness. And it is an indication of the end of a big cycle. So I feel a lot of truth is going to be exposed coming up here when it comes to our purpose, our transformative powers, and where we need to move forward, because we're kind of at the in-between when it comes to 3D and 5D Earth right now. So I feel a lot of mystical energies. I feel this deep calling for inner self-reflection. When it comes to our ability to change the world, we kind of all have to transform from the inside out. So I did pull my crow card out of the Divine Feather Messenger book. So I wanted to talk about that as well. So, you know, crows represent the universal laws, and truths will now be revealed is what I'm feeling. Use this energy to create your reality. So crows can often be found in groups, creating sound in like a mob-like fashion with their caws. So, and they are there to kind of drive off predators. So I kind of feel it was a wise messenger of the power of co-creation, and we all have the power to co-create our journey. So the crow speaks the language of the universal creator, which is beautiful. And it's asking us all to go deep within the darkness to tap into our manifesting capabilities. And that is the place of creation, the void, the dark, the shadow self. So the universal laws that govern everything are telling us that there is an unending field of potential that we all can access if we are willing to go into the magical void. And so this energy is kind of urging us all to start creating everything that we desire. So I do feel it's kind of time for all of us to acknowledge our own higher connection. We all have the ability to connect to the higher realities, and we all have the ability to channel these powerful energies. And I do feel we are finally now in this home stretch where we are ready to embrace and trust in these divine counterpart unions. So let's talk about the energies for the week ahead. I feel that Scorpio lunar eclipse brought in major shakeups, wake ups. A lot of secrets have come to the forefront when it comes to past regrets, and I feel a lot of frenemies have been revealed, and a lot of revelations when it comes to what has blocked us from our true loving destiny. So we still have Mercury retrograde continuing, which is bringing forward this deep sense of reevaluation. Get ready for exes and past situations to come back for some resolution. And this is a good week for possible twin flame reunions. And speaking of exes coming back from the past, we bumped into my oldest daughter's biological father on the weekend as well. So a lot of triggering coming up. I know it deeply triggered my daughter. It put her into like some soul shock. And so all of these energies are kind of working together when it comes to healing all of these past relationships. So a lot of challenges have been showing up for many, and I feel the energy is asking us to embrace these powerful cosmic energies. I feel it is all about endings, especially regarding our emotions and any negative attachments when it comes to partnership and love. And so I do feel this week is going to bring forward very dramatic endings in the karmic contracts. Everything is going to feel like it's breaking apart, but everything kind of does have to break apart in order for something better to show up. So get ready for dramatic endings when it comes to a certain chapter in your life, especially when it comes to these twin flame connections. And it's a breakdown of how we interact with others when it comes to these deep, intimate connections. So I feel we're all being asked to take a higher approach. And if we cannot open up to this unity consciousness, then you're likely going to be struggling with all kinds of conflicting energies. And conflict is likely to get very triggering, creating a blow-up situation in order for you to recognize what needs to fully end and be released. So, you know, I talk about free will all the time. We all have free will on the journey until we don't. So we cannot keep opting out. We cannot keep hanging on to all of these distorted relationships if we are going to make choices that will have far-reaching positive effects for the future. So it is all about the power of your intention. The mind truly is your greatest manifesting tool. So what intentions are you setting in the mind space when it comes to this leveling up? Because we're all being asked to be mindful of our choices, our intentions, our interactions in order to create our own destiny. So there's this huge energetic release taking place when it comes to these lower karmic cycles, all of these past life wounds this week. We can't keep a distance when it comes to going into these emotions. We kind of have to face this opposition and to release the toxins within our emotional body. And the emotional body stores trauma until we consciously choose to release it. So I feel on a deep energetic level, there's this massive collective push to release these old karmic templates of separation consciousness, which is also known as like the 3D grid. And many of the 5D and above grids have been activated. So we're going through this DNA activation of our crystalline body recrystallizing as we go into these higher templates. So if you are lacking love, unity, and harmony in your life, it's likely to be in the forefront to show you where you have not been embracing oneness and unity. So if we are to enter into unity consciousness, we have to do this deep inner shadow work that is kind of being forced onto the collective at this time. We cannot just think our way through this journey. So many people try to logically make sense of this journey, and it is not a logical journey. It is a journey of the soul. It is a journey of feeling. It is a journey of emotions. And when we can align with reuniting with our inner shadow self and bringing that into the light, then we can align with this reunion energy that's coming in. So it's like we're recoding our DNA structure. We're retemplating our DNA structure within our cellular bodies, within our human systems. And all of this is, stemming around our family ancestry. A collective karma is coming up, and all of these DNA structures that have held on to conflict, chaos, separation is being shifted into these higher crystalline codes for this unity consciousness. So I do feel there's a lot of regret coming up for many of the divine masculines. That blood moon eclipse, I kept hearing, get ready for blood to be spilled. Really brought in a lot of regret in a big, big way for the divine masculine regarding not honoring their soul path, their mission with the divine feminine, and especially this connection. And so I think a lot of the masculines really have let themselves down due to all of these negative influences from others all around them. And I feel with that Venus conjunct Chiron energy that took place on the week, and we're going to feel that throughout the week, this is the perfect time to go deep into these wounds when it comes to these connections. And I think get ready for like waves of emotions to come up at this time so we can clear this and heal this for good. So how it worked for me during the ascension process, it was waves of extreme lows, waves of extreme highs, and we kind of have to spiral up into the truth, down into the lows, and reach that place of resolution at that 0 point. So get ready for waves of intense emotions to come to the surface for a purging. I woke up here this morning at 4:22 a.m., pouring rain. So there is like this collective purge even taking place with Mother Gaia. So this eclipse energy really is asking us to take action on the spiritual guidance that we've been receiving, and anything that needs to close out is likely going to come to a very dramatic head at this point in time. In order for us to understand, as we enter into these Christ conscious codes, we have to be our own savior. There is no Messiah coming back to save us. We cannot avoid taking ownership of our life, and we are all being guided to stop ignoring the signs and the symbols. We cannot just keep waiting for things to magically resolve. We can't just stand back and be a bystander while everything happens around us, because then we're not going to be able to experience this big energy shift for a positive. So it's about accountability and taking action. And I feel this is a very powerful week of major changes. And I kind of just feel we're being told to make these changes now. Where have you not made the changes you have been asked to make? Many of these divine masculines have received that higher guidance, and they've not been following the answers that they have been receiving, and they've been delivered the message without a doubt. And so if they're unwilling to take action at this time, I feel it's because they were talked out of it within the karmic contract. So, and I think the masculine is coming into this deep inner realization that he has been his own worst enemy. And he likely was talked out of his pathway of light due to all of these karmic interactions, and out of the fact that he doesn't believe that he is deserving to receive this love from the feminine. So all of this is uprooting all of these deep inner childhood wounds to the surface to understand what is still out of alignment, needing to be readjusted. So I think a lot of the masculines are deep in some pragmatic regret, remorse, guilt, and shame. And they're being asked to go deep into this inner issue in order to restore the higher frequencies, because it really does all come back to love. We share the same love as a soul, and if we want that in our reality, we kind of have to remove all of the blocks that have been in the way. And so a big energy that came through was accountability and responsibility. A lot of these masculines are so reluctant to take responsibility for themselves. And if we want this change as part of this spiritual deliverance, we cannot keep blaming others for things that go wrong, for what we have not received. We cannot keep blaming others. If we're not willing to take responsibility for ourselves, then nothing is ever going to really turn out in your favor. So we didn't come here to just, take a step back and not be accountable. So I feel a lot of the feminines have been this light, this support, and we've been so open to this energy, and the masculine has refused to take action when it comes to this co-creative journey. So if we are to be these co-creators, we do have to listen to that intuition, and we do have to take those guided action steps, even if we don't feel like taking responsibility. So I feel the feminine really is blossoming into her highest soul purpose, and we are ready for that union. And the masculine's dealing with all kinds of secrets coming to light when it comes to the karmic sexual contract, the power issues, a lot of chaotic challenges this week, trying to shift the masculine's perspective in order to bring in these positive changes. And positive change doesn't really feel good at first. So we think of Scorpio, the ruler of sex, power. It also indicates abuse, secrets, and all of these unconscious motivations coming up in order to resolve all of these past life issues. So I kind of feel the masculine is very aware of the truth, but he's not willing to admit it yet. So I think something has recently been revealed that the masculine is going to have to deal with. Whoever was hiding secrets, it's kind of time to face up to that truth, no matter how challenging it is. And I feel the masculine is clashing with all of those people around him, and he cannot keep hiding and ignoring that big elephant in the room, which is the divine feminine's energy that will not leave him alone. So I feel with the Saturn energy coming in, it's about control, reactions, a lot of negative reactions. And if we kind of step into that higher perspective, and we think about long-term collective goals rather than these little petty personal issues, we'll be able to reach a place of resolution. So I think whatever is falling apart and crumbling apart this week, it's kind of got to break down in order to make room for all of these things that will better serve our higher purpose. So what I felt in the middle of the night, and I've still got a very bad stiffness in my back right around the solar plexus. So I feel a recalibration of our solar plexus. And this is where we restore our energy levels. If we've been in this very low vibration, I think a lot of the masculines have been knocked down. Their confidence level is like at rock bottom, and they've been struggling to find their motivation to do things. And so all of these pressing issues are coming in with a vengeance, and everything I feel for the masculine is feeling overwhelming. And when we think of the solar plexus, it is blocked by guilt and shame. So there's a lot of guilt and shame coming up for the masculine, and it is very overwhelming, I feel. So I also feel a lot of the masculines have been coming through in dream space to try and restore the intimacy energy between us. And so with the solar plexus, it can feel a little bit hazy as we recalibrate the energy when it comes to our power center, and that's, where we find our drive and our determination to take action. So I feel a lot of the masculines are going to be tempted this week by the temptress to make another unwise choice, and it's like it's gonna be like this presentation, this tempting easy fix. And let's face it, there is no easy fix. You can't just leave one relationship and go to another relationship or somebody else without resolution from the past. Otherwise, you're kind of giving up your power once again. So a lot of shadows coming up with the Neptunian Piscean energy and Mars still in Pisces. So there is a lot of higher potential this week if the masculine is willing to listen and to allow this guidance to bring him forward. Because I do feel the divine feminine is very magnetic at this time. A lot of people are being magnetically drawn towards the feminine. A lot of the feminines are stepping into this increase energy. We're going to have our willpower and our direction restored. And this soul power for the feminine is reaching its highest frequency. It's getting very strong. And the feminines are ready to manifest their ideal destiny, and all of the divine feminine's wishes are likely going to be coming true this week. So it is about seeking your own truth. We all have our own authentic truth. We all have Akashic DNA memories in our soul's memory bank. And when the time comes and that activation springs forward, then we can remember our true authentic self and recenter and realign to step into the forward motion. So I feel a lot of the feminines are radiating that blueprint, that soul song, and I feel there's all kinds of dark forces trying to block this reunion in the masculine's world. And a lot of these masculines are not being true to themselves. And when you're not being true to yourself or radiating that core frequency of unconditional love, then the masculine is going to get swallowed whole in the darkness. So I think a lot of the feminines are very magnetic to the masculines at this time, which is encouraging the masculine to cut all of these ties with everything that doesn't serve their unique, authentic truth, their karmic pathway. So a lot of the masculines are being moved towards the feminine and being asked to listen to their intuition this week. But will they? Because I feel there's these big shifts coming in. Whether the masculine wants to take a look back or a second look at this or not, he's going to have a major reality check, and he's going to have to face the facts once and for all. The divine masculine deeply misunderstood the feminine. They got so locked into the deep shadows of the karmic contract. They're very inflexible right now. They're going to have to rethink. They're going to have to go through all of these past assumptions made about the feminine in order to go through this refinement. So I feel a lot of the feminines are going to feel very busy this week. I've been very busy for the last couple weeks, and so it's busy, busy, busy. It's this quickening energy, this accelerated ascension energy between the 19th and the 22nd. So Mercury retrograde is moving backwards past the sun, and then we're rethinking our self-identity. So self-identity crisis. So you might be feeling very stressed over nothing, divine feminine, and that would be a mirror reflection of your masculine going through some very intense tower energy. So if things are seeming chaotic, pay attention, get grounded. There's a lot of strange unconscious energies coming to the surface. And so we're kind of being asked, divine feminine, to be present in the moment and to stay grounded as the masculine's thoughts run away with him. So we need to hold that light. I feel the masculine's mind has been running the show, and it's this karmic entanglement, and the problems are, escalating. And so the feminine really needs to be in charge of her thought process, not the other way around. And that will help the masculine ground a lot of these energies. And do get ready for blasts from the past with Mercury retrograde. So especially when Mercury shifts back into Taurus retrograde on the 22nd. So that's going to be grounded communication, grounded, centered communication. It is about bringing that runner twin back. A lot of these masculines run. They don't want to reach resolution. They don't even want to look at this issue in the first place. It can also bring back catalyst twins or karmic twins if there's still an issue needing to be healed that's creating a block for these higher unions. So I think get ready for the runner to come running back in order for resolution. So I do feel get ready for a lot of the past to reappear. And when the past reappears, there's always a good reason for it. So it could be a test to see if you're actually in alignment. But I kind of feel a lot of supernatural energies coming forward, a lot of vivid third eye visions coming forward this week, a lot of astral projection in the energy. And we really need to be in tune with our higher self when it comes to all of these spiritual messages being delivered. So pay attention. That crow was a very powerful symbolic message. It wasn't just for my own journey. It was a very heavy collective message. So I feel get ready for an intense week, but a very magical week, because we're kind of being asked to restore a sense of spiritual intimacy. And a lot of us, with the Kundalini activation, it's like we swap souls. We go through this soul merger as all of these chakra pathways are activated in order to embrace this very immense Kundalini spiritual enlightenment. So a lot of soul memories, breaking open of the heart when it comes to deep intimacy. And I feel love being activated at a deep soul level. And I feel the runner twin is not going to be able to ignore this higher heart activation. You know, a lot of these masculines will no longer just be happy with a purely physical relationship with the karmic. They want something deeper. I think they're very dissatisfied with the karmic situation. It's very unexciting. And it's just not what the masculine wants. So we're kind of in the preparation stages for this Lionsgate portal to shift timelines, to shift realities. But we kind of got to get like shaken to the core when it comes to these old limitations and these 3D situations if we are to open up to this brand new 12-year beginning, brand new 12-year cycle. So I think take a good look at what is working, what is not working, and what is it that you want to bring in, because anything being rattled and shaken to the core is asking you to release it in order to break out of these old karmic templates so we can finally open up to these unions. And the energies are definitely going to be very intense. So I grabbed a couple different decks today. We're going to start off with the Seasons of the Witch. We're going to dig into the Divine Masculine's energy. There's that third harvest that just flipped out. So I feel we're rounding completion. I've been on the journey in separation for about 3 years, and I do find, you know, that cycle of 3 is always a big message. So we're going to grab from the Samhain Oracle, because I do feel a lot of death energy, a lot of interaction with the spiritual realm. And we're going to see what needs to come through for the Divine Masculine for the week ahead. We're just going to grab 3 cards today, and I'll show all of the cards to you. Potions and spells, the underworld, that's what I felt. And deep mirror reflection, frog on the bottom of the deck. So we get the poisons and spells, and a lot of these karmics did poison the masculine with that karmic energy. And so I feel the masculine is needing to be absolutely sure before he comes forward with that communication, because right now I think he's deep within the underworld energies, the belly of the underworld, Hades. And I kind of feel the journey is becoming crystal clear. There is a big shift, and the masculine's deep within that mirror reflection. Really wary of the things that he's had his eyes closed to. He's not wanted to look at this. And I feel this maddening energy as all of this truth is being revealed. And so I do feel a lot of healing energy surrounding the masculine, and he's kind of like drowning in the depths of all of these hidden secrets that have recently been revealed. So let's grab a couple more Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. I know it's a Christmas deck, but the Dove Medicine. So I do feel the masculine's been in this unforgiving battleground, and he's being asked to go into that inner child healing for freedom. So I do feel the home, the hearth, belongs with the divine feminine. And so you might be experiencing a lot of spiritual shivers as we go through these activations and these DNA restructuring energies. But we're going to get 3 cards from this deck, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into the Divine Masculine. And then I would like to pull from the Priestess of Light, and then we will jump in with the Tarot. So we got the Yule Log, the Mistletoe, and Falling in Love. Bottom of the deck, Mother Mary. So I do feel a lot of activations when it comes to the timeline of Christ as we're clearing the age of Pisces. So I feel right now the masculine is learning to mother himself as all of this wisdom kind of swells up inside of him, and I feel coming out of that winter. So a lot of bleeding through the heart as we tap into this sacred creation, understanding that we are the creator of our destiny. And I do feel he does see the feminine as that goddess creation, that creator. And I do feel dreaming of this calling. So I do feel the Holy Grail calling has been activated when it comes to these deep sacred unions, the falling in love. And so the masculine has been ripped open in the heart, and all of these bleeding energies into his soul when it comes to this resolution. So a lot of spiritual voices as all of the webbing kind of gets untangled, and there is a lot of deep sorrow because we're not always guaranteed tomorrow, and the masculine has wasted a lot of time playing games in that karmic soul contract. So we'll get a couple last oracle messages, and we will jump in with some tarot. Go with the flow. We are in a deep purification, letting go and releasing energy in order to receive. So big energies of receiving for the feminine, and I do feel a lot of angelic assistance for the twins for the week ahead. And the masculine is opening up his heart to this deep connection. And it is the energy of the water bearer. So purging and cleansing all of these deep-seated emotions in order for the masculine to be ready to receive the divine feminine's love. So we'll get a few more cards here, and then we will jump in with some tarot. Deep-seated emotions, all of these unknown feelings from all of these past life influences, and that divine mother came through again. So that's where the masculine knows he needs to go, is to the divine feminine, the divine mother, to his sacred soul partner. This is an eternal connection. And I do feel the tower of the false unions, and the masculine is deep within these emotions that have been boiling below the surface when it comes to all of these past life influences. And he's definitely in the throes of mastering duality when it comes to all of these misunderstandings. And he's right in the throes of that death and that rebirth energy. In the darkness will come the light when it comes to these sacred unions. So a big fall of the ego, ego demise is what I'm hearing. So let's jump in with some tarot. Brand new beginning page on the bottom of the deck, and there's that grief, that sorrow, that regret, that remorse. A lot of these masculines keep turning their back on this, but I think now they have to go into self-forgiveness. They have to go into self-forgiveness if we are to have these sacred unions coming forward. So I'm going to, I don't know how I'm going to do this, guys. I'm feeling very foggy at the moment in the energies. So we're just going to see what energies need to come through on the divine masculine side. And then we will pull into the divine feminine's energy. We did get the Ten of Swords on the masculine side with the Seven of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles. Is there any other messages? Yeah, there's a lot coming through. So the Ten of Cups just landed on the Page of Wands. So that's a new beginning. Give me a second. Where'd that card go? There we go. The High Priestess. So a lot of secrets revealed, I feel. And this is like massive disillusionment. And there's that core wound, that Chiron aspect coming up. So we do have the Knight of Pentacles, guys. But we got this Ten of Swords was the first one that I've noticed. So a major ending. And the masculine, although I feel it's like this sense of relief, there is this deep grief and sadness attached to it. So he has to kind of release this burden he's carried on his shoulders. I feel a lot of the karmics have backstabbed the masculine. I feel a lot of melodramatic endings on the weekend in order for the masculine to release that very addictive contract, in order for the masculine to kind of turn inwards to discover his true soul's desire. And I feel preparing to take action. He knows he has to make a choice. I also feel the feminines have many options coming forward. And the masculine's been in this over-analyzing, over-mental processing. And the clarity to move forward has arrived, but these addictions have been skewing the masculine's perceptions. And I feel hitting that rock bottom, going deep within that mother wound when it comes to coming forward. So a lot of apprehension, though, when it comes to bringing forward an offer is kind of what I'm feeling, because he does see a happy marriage with the divine feminine. He does see her as his happily ever after, but he's got to go deep into these emotions, and he has to come forward with that total accountability and make that wise choice. So I do feel he is planning to take action, but very apprehensive, because I feel he's very protective of his ego still in the energies, and the doorway is opening in order for the masculine to finish what was started with these seeds that were planted quite a long time ago. But he has to get going. He has to take action. He cannot keep waiting for the perfect time, or he's likely going to miss out on this gateway opportunity. So we're going to look into the feminine's energy. We get the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords on the feminine side, and the Hermit reversed. Bottom of the deck, the Chariot. So the Hermit came out of reverse. So I feel this is really the time for the feminine to come out of hiding. Many of the feminines have been in this state of inner reflection, receiving all of these spiritual insights through meditation. And I feel the feminines release this mental exhaustion. And so, oh, this is bringing in bad fortune, I feel, for the masculine. We got the Judgment in reverse. So that's the masculine wanting to come back and seek that forgiveness. Definitely clarity in his heart, wanting to come back for that renewal. Dropping all defenses when it comes to the missed opportunity and not putting in the work. So big changes, and I feel the feminine has been holding back, coming out of hiding, coming out of hermit mode. But I do feel a lot of the feminines have received some new brilliant epiphanies or ideas when it comes to any challenges we've been facing. Restoring our faith, knowing that everything is working out according to divine will. So I feel communication is coming. I do feel the masculine is coming out of hermit mode. And you really want to be careful of your finances at this time. I feel the feminine is, coming into making all of these new business decisions. And a lot of truth as the masculine kind of comes in for that opportunity. He missed out on that opportunity. And so I feel a lot of the masculines, too, are going to experience a major job loss when it comes to receiving this bad karma for not having compassion and not being objective and not going in the right direction when it comes to their purpose. So I do feel a lot of movement forward, that quickening energy, that accelerated ascension energy. Rewards are coming for the feminine for all of the hard work, a lot of success, a lot of balance. As the feminine kind of has mastered, working with all of these priorities. A lot of the feminines don't have a lot of support on the journey. A lot of us are single mothers, we're in a business, and we've had to find our determination and our willpower to go through this awakening on our own. So I do feel the masculine is, also awakening in the energies to see things in that whole new light. From the feminine's perspective. So a major awakening for the masculine to take charge. So many of the masculines are being told the time is now to accept this leadership position. The time is now to learn something new and to come forward with that solid offer for these spiritual unions, because these seeds were planted a long time ago. And we are here to plan for the future, to instill financial security for everybody. So I do feel like an inheritance of some sort or windfall energy coming forward that will allow the twins to keep passing on this higher knowledge for the future. And I do feel a lot of peace and prosperity is coming as we come into this aligned energy of structure, discipline, peace, and contentment in our personal lives. So let's get a couple last messages with the Crystal Stone deck today. I'm sure you can hear my peanut home. She was feeling better, and now she's back to that nasty cough and the cold again. It was like she got better for a few days, and now it's back full force. So I do feel like as we purge these lower frequencies too, we also release through physical illness. So if you're feeling extra tired, I think rest, because we are rewriting our DNA codes. And so you might find yourself very distracted, very burnt out, very bored as you go through this awakening process, as we recrystallize our DNA and refocus. So I do feel this is about strengthening foundations and swallowing that truth whole, no matter how painful it is. A lot of psychedelic influences is what I'm feeling. So I kind of feel like a very powerful shift when it comes to breaking out of these gray thought patterns, these old programmed belief patterns that are no longer working, in order for us to get back on route and re-energize our lives. So a lot of visions are being enhanced, and there's that serpentine energy, the Kundalini activation, the awakening of our reptilian nature. And if we don't awaken to the reptilian nature, then we cannot rewrite those codes. So it's like a deep extrication energy when it comes to this treatment and this activation of our true spiritual self in the energies this week. Kundalini activation in order for this fresh start. So a lot of circulating energies. I'm being shown the Kundalini activation like that in my third eye. So when the Kundalini energy arrives, it's to get this stuck energy unstuck in order to get us to release all of these old, outdated, tired beliefs. And so this is an invitation to rip the Band-Aid off, to rip the heart wide open, and to regroup. So releasing all of this lingering drama, sweating it out, pulling all of these negative vibes to the surface in order to get back into our body. So it is like this outer body experience that's been taking place, I feel, in order to strengthen these foundations. And so you might want to work with quartz this week, because the energies are intensifying when it comes to these recrystallization codes. And so I think clarity is coming, and it's kind of like all of these limitations are going to be thrown in front of us this week in order to answer the call to break free from these illusions and to clear the mind of all of this self-doubt. So surrender is going to be needed, as we are being asked to surrender to the will of the universe. So you might just want to chill a little bit this week. A lot of cerebral activity, a lot of mental activity. And so water therapy is going to help. And what I'm being shown is the masculine, like in the fetal position at that rock bottom, being cushioned by the angels. And I feel a lot of the masculines have been freaking out because these activations are very intense. And so I do feel releasing the drama and releasing any burdens that were never yours to carry anyways, in order for the masculine to go with the heart. So he's been going against the grain. He's not wanted to open up the heart. And now I feel he's begging the universe. He's begging the universe for that resolution at this point in time, is what I'm feeling. And he cannot keep this people-pleasing facade up any longer. He's being shown to go towards the light, to go towards the feminine, and to embrace his unique spiritual powers to make the world a better place. So it's like this rapid spinning out of control energy as the masculine prepares to kind of go all in. To go all in is what I'm feeling. So a lot of destruction when it comes to these illusions, and transformation coming forward, so we can represent that embodiment of unity consciousness, of Christ consciousness moving forward. So all of these life-sucking vampires, all of these supersized negative energies are kind of backing the masculine in the corner in order for him to find his solid ground again. So a lot of struggles in the energies, and the masculine definitely needs some stability in his life, and I don't think he's got much stability in his life. So I feel he's feeling very disconnected right now as he transforms his life. So I feel like the energy is like trippy. I feel like he's tripping out when it comes to these illusions, delusions, disillusionment. And I feel this deep spiritual seeking energy as we step into the age of Aquarius, the golden age of Aquarius. And so the feminine needs to get grounded as the masculine spirals in these ascension energies into these higher frequencies in order to transform his life. So big energies for the week ahead, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, please feel free to check out that description box below, guys. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.